welcome to South Boston Speedway in Virginia. We are here for the third round of the Mason-Dixon Racing Series in the street stocks. And we have 9 drivers finishing up their practice session. We got a couple of minutes to go in practice for this race. And we are looking at Ian Martin here in the 98, who has run the quickest lap time so far here in practice with a 16.535, actually improving that to a 16.192. Ooh, and there hiccup there, and Greg Wood running into him. And let's take a look here at Andrew Freeling in the number 11 car, currently in 7th position. And James Badzer in the number 7 car out on the track. Guys running hard, getting their groove going, and making sure they are ready for qualifying. So let's take a quick look at tonight's race format. We're going to be doing qualifying in 2 laps, and we're going to be doing heat races. If we have enough drivers for more than one, the cutoff is 14. So right now we are looking at 9 drivers. So that'll be 1 heat race, 10 laps. Yellow laps in the heat race do not count. And then after the heat race will set us up for the feature, which will be a 75 lap race around here on the South Boston Speedway. And obviously in the feature race, the yellows will indeed count. So this is the third race in the championship. The third race in this series, and after 2 races, the standings are looking like this. Ian Martin is in front with 72, and then it's Harbin, Staton, Spencer, Alcala, James Betzer, and then Andrew Freeling, Travis Reese, Greg Wood, last week's winner Austin Cragg with 36 points. Then it's Matthew Allen, Andrew Ewing, Jonathan Mitchum, and Gregory Wood Sr. So that's the point standings going into this race. Ian Martin out in front. He was in the fight for the lead last time. He looks like he's going to be in the fight for the lead this time. So we'll see how all this plays out this afternoon. And currently less than 2 minutes in practice left. So let's take a look and see if Ian is out there. No, he's not. We have Greg Wood in the pits, the 23 car, and Kyle Harbin in the 34. He's out there practicing. And let's see, Ewing is in the pit. Freeling is out there as well. So about a minute and a half to go. We'd like to take an opportunity to thank our series sponsors, Pulse Graphics and Nicky's Garden. Their support for this series is greatly appreciated by drivers, administrators, and by the broadcaster. We hope you're going to enjoy tonight's race. Last week we saw some great fighting on a very short track. This track is 0.4 of a mile long. It's got a little bit tighter turns and longer straights. The banking in the turns is 14 degrees. And the banking on the straights is 12 degrees, so a little bit more banking than the Oxford Plains race that we did last time. And that might make for a little bit of different racing. The Oxford Plains had wide turns and very short straights, and this is pretty much the opposite with tighter turns and a little bit longer straights. So you see that yellow line that separates the apron from the track. Some of the drivers might experience the car being a little bit upset when they get those tires underneath that yellow line. It tends to loosen up the car and spin the back end around if you're not careful. So we'll see in the race how that works out for these guys. All right, we're getting ready to go to qualifying. Last seconds ticking away. Qualifying will be individual, so the drivers will not see each other, but we get to see whoever's on the track. And there we have it. The checkered flag for practice has fallen, and that moves us right into qualifying. And let's see who is the first taker on qualifying here. It looks like we have 5 minutes to put down 2 laps. And it looks like we have Ian Martin burning up some rubber here, trying to get heat in those rear tires. Not every series will let you do that. There's actually the admins can make you, they can prevent you from doing that. But I guess in this series they're allowed to do so. All right, William Alcala is already on track in the number 5 Snap-on car. And he's working hard. Ooh, and he's messing up his first lap here. And turning it around in the first turn. And back out to try again. Ian Martin is now on the track. Running himself a warm-up lap here, a little in the high lane. And he should be going for a time right now. See what he can do. Coming down the back straight. And coming back towards the flag stand here. And first time he posts is a 16.770. Currently puts him in 4th position. Greg Wood has posted a 16.460, and that puts him on the provisional pole. Let's see what Martin can do. Can he move up to the pole? Yes, he can. Ian Martin puts himself on the provisional pole here. In front of Greg Woods, Gregory Wood Sr. currently shown in 3rd, Andrew Ewing in 4th, and we're waiting for some other guys to bring in a time. And we have Andrew Freeling in the 11 posting a time, Kevin Spencer in the 96 now posting a time. There he is. He's got himself up to 5th position. Well, being overtaken by Kyle Harbin here in the 34, who pushes himself up to the 2nd spot. And we're still waiting for James Badzer and Carl Staten and William Alcala to post a time in qualifying. Some drivers elect to start in the back and not post a qualifying time and just, start from the back and see how their race goes. Badzer also burning up the rear tires, trying to get some heat in there. See if he can make this work. And we're still waiting for Carl Staten and William Alcala in the 5 to post a time. Still have 2 minutes left in qualifying here. James Badzer coming around. His first lap is 16 seconds, 16.974, puts him in the 8th position as we speak. See if he can make a better time on that second lap. Ooh, it looks like he caught the wall there. And it doesn't look like he improved his time. Scraping the wall will disqualify the time that he was setting. All right, final driver on the track momentarily. Carl Staten pushes himself into the 3rd position. And it looks like we missed Alcala, but he posted a 16.540. And I'm not really sure why that's not showing. So Carl Staten in the 88 pushes himself into the 3rd position at this point. Ian Martin on the provisional pole, Kyle Harbin in 2nd. And we have about 45 seconds taken away in qualifying. It looks like everybody's been out there. So we are waiting for the seconds to tick away. We're going to do a heat race first, 10 laps. Yellows are not being counted in the heat race. So that'll set us up. The final positions of the heat race will set us up for the feature. 75 lap feature, and obviously in the feature the yellows will be counted like normal. All right, qualifying session has officially ended. Drivers will be lining up for their heat race. And that'll only be one heat race, obviously, because we do not have enough drivers to fill two of them. All right, we're looking at the 88 of Carl Staten on the inside of row one, and next to him is the 23 of Greg Wood. Second row will be Kevin Spencer and Gregory Wood Sr. Third row inside will be Andrew Ewing, and next to him will be Andrew Freeling. And on the fourth row, we see James Badzer and William L. Kayla. Cars are lined up, pickup trucks moving along, and we're getting ready to go. Despite what you see on your screen, we'll be doing 2 laps before the green flag. If I remember correctly on this track, although I don't see any lights on the pickup truck. These are short laps, cars weaving left and right a little bit to warm up those tires. And looks like we are doing 2 warm-up laps here to get some heat in those tires. And we might actually do 2 heats, although we only have 1 driver for that second heat, and that would be Ian Martin. All right, Carl Staten, once the truck pulls in, it'll be up to him to get the race going. He will set the pace. And let's see what these guys can do here in 10 laps, South Boston Speedway. Here we go. It's Staten in the lead. It's Greg Wood taking second position. It's Spencer in third. And Wood Sr. on the outside getting caught out a little bit. And we have the 54 of Andrew Ewing currently shown in fourth. And it looks like Greg Wood is in the rear. I misread that number there. Kevin Spencer in the 96, challenging Greg Wood for second place. It's Andrew Ewing in fourth. James Bedzer picked up fifth position there. And William L. Kayla is in sixth. Andrew Freeling is in the seventh spot. And Wood Sr. is in the eighth spot. Let's bring it back up to the front here. Carl Staten in the lead in the 88 car. The 23 of Greg Wood following him. Spencer right behind him in the 96. Field stretching out a little bit now. Andrew Ewing in fourth. And we are losing Badzer here. Something has happened to him. Let's see if we can catch the replay on that. And like I told you earlier, he gets those wheels below the yellow line a little bit too far, loses the back end, and gets caught out. No yellow thrown, so we're still racing. Staten in the lead. Wood still in the second position. Spencer still in the third position. Al Kayla in fourth. It's Freeling now in fifth. Greg Wood Sr. in sixth. And Ewing. Ooh, and Ewing is doing the same thing, it looks like. He gets himself underneath that yellow line. Let's see if we can see if that's indeed what happened. Oh, he's already loose on the inside of the turn. Can't catch it. And there's just no holding that thing. So Ewing falling back a little bit here. And James Betzer trying to make up for lost time. Let's bring her back up front. The 23 of Greg Wood chasing down Carl Staten for the lead. Looking at lap 8 as we speak. So we're almost through this first heat already. The 96 of Spencer in third. Al Kayla in the number 5 is in fourth position. And we're bringing it back up here to the leader, Carl Staten, starting lap 9, so 2 laps to go for him. It looks like Greg Wood's closing in on him a little bit, but ooh, and he runs into the wall there on the exit of the turn. Doesn't seem to hurt him too badly. He's still about a half a second behind the leader here. Kevin Spencer in third. Carl Staten is starting his final lap here. He's gotten the white flag. He's on the back stretch going through turn 3 and 4, and he's going to pick up this heat win right as we speak here. Carl Staten takes the win. Greg Wood in second. Kevin Spencer takes third. Al Kayla picks up fourth position. Freeling is in fifth. Wood Sr. is in sixth. Ewing in seventh. And Badzer in eighth. And that's how we're going to get started. With the warm-up for the feature race, we will not have a second heat race. There's not enough drivers for that at this point. So the drivers get about 5-minute practice session to warm everything up, to get themselves in the right mindset. Ian Martin already out on the track, trying to get himself ready, warm up the car, warm up the tires, lay down some rubber in the groove, and obviously the warm up is also for the driver himself. Just get himself in the right mindset, the right attack mode, so to say. Let's see who else is on track. Kevin Spencer in the 96 is on track in that beautiful yellow and red car. I'm not sure who the picture up front is, but it looks kind of eye-catching. Kyle Harbing is currently shown as the quickest driver. Oh, and same thing again. He gets those wheels underneath that yellow line, loses the back end, tries to get it turned back into the right direction. There he goes. And Kyle Harbin in the 34, shown in third now, loses the back end. These cars look like they're fairly loose on this track. This is a fixed setup race, which means that the drivers cannot alter the suspensions and the gearing and all that kind of stuff. The only thing, as far as I know, is that they can play with is the brake bias. The brake bias divides the pressure on the brakes between the front and the rear brakes. Meaning that if you turn up the brake bias, you get more pressure of braking on the front wheels. There are drivers that use the brakes slightly going into these turns, and sometimes they will bring that brake bias to the rear a little bit so that the rear tires brake a little harder, and it helps to rotate the car into the turn. But if you do too much of it, you would get the issue that you just saw Kyle Harbin do, and losing the back end on the entry of the turn. So that may be what was going on as we were talking about it. Let's take a look here at the number 5 of Alcala, also a little bit loose on the entry of the turn. He is following the 96 of Spencer. And let's check out James Bedzer here real quick. We're about halfway into this warm-up session. He's running the 4th time at this point, and Wood is in the pit. He's not been out yet. He hasn't posted a time in this practice session. Andrew Ewing in the 54, Jack Daniels livery, 7th position in the warm-up. And he's also fighting that back end there, you can tell. And let's go and see how Freeling is doing. Ooh, and it looks like Andrew Ewing lost it there again. Let's take a quick look at that. Going into turn 1, just a little bit hot into the turn and loses the back end, gets a little nip in the back from the 96, and he's going to have to start again. Let's check back here with Ian Martin. He's awaiting the start of the race. We have a minute and a half in practice to go. Greg Wood is in the pits, and Kyle Harbin is still out there. William Alcala running there with Kevin Spencer. Spencer looking like he's able to go down below that yellow line and not really getting into trouble there. That's interesting. I've seen more races with this car on this track, and it looked to me like that apron gets you in trouble if you're not careful. But it looks like Spencer's doing a pretty good job. Ooh, they touch and they both lose control here. And that sends both of them into the wall there. Kevin resetting, and Kevin Ewan resetting, going back out for a couple more laps just to get himself in the right direction here. And it looks like we're missing Carl Staten at this point. I haven't seen him on practice, and I don't see his car in the pit lane. That's Gregory Wood. So I hope Carl's all right, and hope he can join the race. Hope he doesn't have a technical issue here at home. Sometimes the servers get overloaded. It is a busy weekend at iRacing this weekend because of the 24 hours of Le Mans. Greg Wood still waiting in the pits. James Badzer still out on track practicing, and the checkered flag on the warm-up has come out. That means we're about ready to go racing for the feature. 75 laps here at South Boston Speedway in Virginia. Nice little facility, cool track to run. And there we're looking at the pole sitter, Ian Martin. On his outside will be Kyle Harbin in the 34. Second row, Carl Staten and Greg Wood. We are waiting on those drivers. The third row will be inside Kevin Spencer, outside William Alcala. Fourth row, Andrew Freeling, and on his outside, Gregory Wood Sr. And the fifth row will be on the inside, Andrew Ewing, and on the outside, 10th position for James Badzer. There we have Carl Staten coming back. If there was any issue, then I'm glad it's resolved, and we're waiting for Greg Wood in the 23 car to grid up here. "75 laps to go." There we are. Grid is complete. The pace truck will be rolling off here soon. It looks like Greg is getting eager to go. They're waiting for the pace truck to get moving. There we go. We are rolling 2 warm-up laps for the green flag falls, and it'll be Ian Martin setting the pace once the pickup truck goes into the pits. So Ian Martin on the pole here. On his outside, Kyle Harbin, and then behind him is the 88 of Staten and a 23 of Wood on the outside. Some good racing going on in this series. I enjoyed the one last time on Oxford Plains. It was a lot of fun to watch. So let's see what kind of a show these guys can put up here tonight. Back of the pack there, the blue or the purplish and green car of James Badzer in the rear end. But let's keep it up front here. The pace truck will be going in. And Ian Martin gets to set the pace. There we go. The green flag flies. It's Ian Martin diving to turn 1 in the lead. Right behind him, it's the 88 of Carl Staten, who runs a little wide there. And it's Kyle Harbin in the 34 on the outside of the 96, passing on the high side for 3rd position. And the 96 now in 4th. It's Alcala in the number 5 car in the 5th position. It's Greg Wood dropping back a little bit to the 6th position. It's Andrew Ewing following there. James Badzer picked up 2 positions here on the start from 10th to 8th already. Ian Martin on the 1st position, having the lead here. Carl Staten in the 2nd position now. And the 88 goes around. The 88 goes around. Caution comes out right away. Can everybody miss him here? Carl Staten, let's see if he got through this unscathed. He turns it around on the entry of the turn, and it looks like the 11 just nipped him there. Andrew Freeling, and hopefully they're all okay. It looks like the 88 is rolling. So let's see if we can find out what the damage looks like on that car. It doesn't look that bad. It looks like they're okay. Let's see here on Freeling. Freeling's got a little bit of sheet metal damage there, I think, on the left front. Yes, indeed. It doesn't seem to be bothering him all that much just yet. The cars on this track are not going fast enough for that aero to really make a difference. As long as they can keep those suspensions and steering systems intact and everything rolling in the right direction, they should be pretty okay. But once you get your suspensions bent and your steering bent, then you're going to be in trouble. So, all right, well, Staten drops to the back of the pack in 10th position. He's going to have to work his way back up to the front. And meanwhile, we're looking at James Badzer in the number 7. He's already worked his way from 10th on the start to 6th at this point. It's Kyle Harbin in 2nd, Kevin Spencer in 3rd, William Alcala now in 4th. Greg Wood picks up 5th. Then it's Badzer, and then it's Ewing, and then Freeling, and we're getting the 1 lap to green signal here. So they're lining them up double file. Once again, on the inside, it's Ian Martin and Kyle Harbin on the outside. And let's see how this plays out here. We're talking lap 7. We're going to be going into lap 8 when we get the green flag. And it's Ian Martin getting a little jump on Harbin there. Pulling a couple of car lengths already when he gets to turn 1. And 96 on the inside is being challenged by the number 5 on the outside. That's William Elkala challenging for 3rd place. Right now it looks like Spencer can hang on to it, and number 5 drops into 4th. And behind them it's Greg Wood already in 5th position. Badzer hangs on to 6th. Ewing in 7th, Freeling in 8th, Wood Sr. in 9th, Carl Staten still in the back of the pack there. And Harbin has kind of lost a couple of car lengths on Ian Martin on that start there, having to deal with the 96 of Spencer and the 5 of Wood right behind him. William Elkala in the 5 looked like he was almost running into the back end of Spencer there. And it looks like Badzer is really hanging on with these faster guys at this point, and Ewing and Freeling and Wood have lost a little bit of ground here. But Badzer is in the back of that second group. Long string of cars now. The field is stretching out. Ian Martin is well out in front. It's Kyle Harbin in 2nd place. It's the 96 of Kevin Spencer in the 3rd position. Right behind there, the 5 of Elkala. Greg Wood into 23, and it looks like James Badzer is having a little bit of trouble hanging on with these guys, but he got a good distance on Andrew Ewing into 54. So good moves for him. That's pretty cool. Ian Martin is already 1.3 seconds ahead, and on a short track like this, that's quite a distance he's pulling there. And it makes you wonder what makes this man so fast. And he had, of course, a little bit of a jump. Oh, and the 5 and the 96 getting into each other a little bit there for 3rd position. William Elkala on the bumper of the 96. The 96 getting a little loose off the turn. He's low into the next one, and the 5 can hang with him there on the main straightaway into turn 1. Both of them on the lower line now, and it looks like the 5 actually got 2 wheels below that yellow line. He's got to be a little careful with that. We've seen guys lose it. Here he goes again, but he's hanging with the 96 really, really well. And it looks like they're losing a couple of car lengths on Harbin. Any form of racing, when you're battling together, you're always slower than the ones that are running by themselves. The 5 now on the inside, going for the lower line here in turn 1 and 2. And it looks like William Elkala is trying to pick up 3rd position here. Can he do so? He noses ahead a little bit into 3 and 4. The 96 not giving up on the high side there, but it looks like the lower side gives Elkala a little bit more momentum. And the 96 is now under threat of Greg Wood into 23. On the lower side as well. Let's take a look at Greg here on the lower side. It looks like Spencer having a little bit of trouble keeping that momentum going on the high side. James Badzer coming back up to this group again, closing in. And meanwhile, it's Ian Martin well out in front now, 1.6 seconds on Kyle Harbin, in the 2nd position. Elkala put the number 5 in 3rd. Greg Wood also come by Spencer. He's in 4th. Spencer now in 5th position, and 6th position is still James Badzer. And he's sticking with these guys very, very good. And further back, we have Andrew Ewing, Andrew Freeling, and Wood Sr. and Carl Staten is hanging on there in the back. He's having trouble getting back in that groove. Maybe he did pick up a little bit of suspension damage, because it did look to me like Freeland was hitting him in the left front there. He's passing Wood Sr. now for 9th position. Let's go take it back up to the front here. It's Ian Martin still in front, Kyle Harbin in 2nd. And this group here, Elkala, Wood, Spencer, and Badzer. Badzer now moving to the inside of Spencer and taking that 5th position away from him. We have a caution, and let's go see really quick if we can find out what's going on. It looks like Gregory Wood Sr. Let's see if we can find out what happened. Oh, it's not his fault at all. It's the 88 and the 11. Carl Staten and Freeling coming together, and then it's Wood Sr. basically having no place to go, having to take a tow to the pit lane. Unfortunate for him. All right, cars lining up behind the pace car. It looks like, it looked to me like Ian Martin is not in this row. He went to the pit to get some new tires, and Carl Harbin did the same thing. They do have the ability to take unlimited tires, and it looks like Alcala is doing the same thing. So Martin and Harbin and Alcala in the pits, and that means that the 23 of Greg Wood is picking up the lead here, and it puts James Bedzer in second position. And from somebody starting in 10th, that's a pretty good achievement so far, I would say. We're talking lap 27 of 75, so we've got a third of the race in the books. And behind Badzer, we see the 54 of Ewing. Then it's the 11 of Freeling. He's got some damage, but he's still hanging in there. William Alcala, having pitted, comes back in 5th. Martin in 6th. Kyle Harbin in 7th. The 96 of Spencer also took a pit stop. And Carl Staten took a pit stop as well, and he looks like he's fairly bent up on the front end. He is still in the back of the pack. It looks like Gregory Wood has left the scene. So Greg Wood here picking up the lead. And let's see how the guys on the fresher tires in the back of the, or in the middle of the pack, that starts with Alcala, Martin, and Harbin. Let's see if those fresher tires really will give them an advantage. You would think so. After 30 laps, scrubbing through these turns, you would think that fresh tires would definitely be a good idea. But obviously, it's a short track. It's difficult to pass. The higher line's not really working all that well yet. It might be that it's not rubbered in quite yet.
Green flag.
We're going green. We're going racing. It's Greg Wood taking a jump on the guys into turn 1. It's Badzer on the higher side trying to fight off Ewing. Ewing taking to the inside here and diving to the inside of Badzer. Badzer's got a little bit more momentum coming in the turn, and then the 54 has got a little bit more momentum on the exit of the turn. And we did see somebody get into trouble here. That was in the back of the pack. Let's see if we can tell what happened. Back it up a little bit further. The 34 of Kyle Harbin. And he got just a little tap in the back from the 88, and it's enough to spin him around. Unfortunate for him. And yellow comes out. Greg Wood is still in the lead. And believe it or not, Ian Martin has already brought himself back up to second. Let's see if we missed something on the moment we went to yellow. Well, it looks like he was in a little bit of trouble as well. Let's see here. They're fighting. Oh, this is quite a mess. This is quite a mess here. It looks to me like the 5 is running into the back of the 7 here. And that sends everybody flying. It sends Ian Martin into the wall as well. So, yeah, unfortunate incident here. But it looks like Martin is okay. He is shown in second position. And it doesn't look like he's got... If he has any damage, it'll be on the outside. His right front is bent up a little bit, but the rear seems to be okay. Then on Alcala's car, we see a little bit of bent sheet metal on the front end. Freeling, we knew he was bent up already. That's from an earlier incident. And then Kevin Spencer seems to be in good shape. Carl Harbin, same thing, seems to be in pretty good shape. And Carl Staten, he's a little bit bent up. And unfortunately, Badzer had to take to the pits. Get some fresh tires. Same for Ewing. Get some fresh tires and back in line at the rear end of the pack. So Greg Wood picks up the lead, or holds on to the lead, I should say. At this point, Ian Martin picks up second place. His tires are definitely fresher than Greg Wood's. So if the last 2 laps before the yellow came out are any indication, he should be able to jump to that lead fairly quickly. Cars are lining up. Double file restart once again. We'll be going into lap 37 of 75, so we're pretty much halfway at this point, a little bit over. And Greg Wood will be the one setting the pace. Ian Martin on the outside, looking eager to go.
Green, green, green.
And it's Freeling on the second row there. And it looks like Martin already gets a little bit of a jump on Greg Wood, taken to the outside. Can he hang on to that lead? Yes, he's definitely got his car in front of Greg Wood here. And the number 5 of Alcala in third position, sticking with Wood, very good. It's Harbin in fourth, being challenged by Spencer on the inside. And it looks like Spencer is not quite past yet. He gets to try again on the low side in 3 and 4. No, Harbin's hanging on to that fourth position. Let's go back up front. The 98 of Ian Martin in the lead. And he's being challenged by Greg Wood. It looks like Greg Wood on older tires seems to be hanging with him fairly good. It looks like Alcala, who's on newer tires, is having a little trouble staying with him. Harbin still in fourth. He's now definitely put himself in front of the 96 here. They're no longer side by side. It looks like Badzer is having a good night tonight. He's already back into sixth position. He's bringing Staten with him on the inside while they're passing Andrew Freeling, and Andrew Ewing is closing the line here in ninth position. I apologize, that would be Andrew Freeling. So let's go up back to the front here. Ian Martin hanging on to the lead. Greg Wood hanging with him fairly good here, less than half a second. And remember, Greg Wood is on older rubber than the leader is, and Alcala is on newer rubber as well. So I expect him to close in on Wood here. A little bit further back, it's Harbin. Oh, we have another yellow. Let's see if we can quickly find out what happened. It's the 54 of Andrew Ewing turning it around, getting those wheels below the yellow line. He turns it around on his own, and unfortunately drops back to the line in ninth position. All right, let's see you up front again. Let's see if there's anybody taking a pit stops. No, I don't think we have any takers on pit road currently. Doesn't look like it. You might see Andrew Ewing coming in. Nope, he also decides to stay out. Martin in the lead under yellow here. William Alcala in second position, and that means that Greg Wood is the only one that took a pit stop. And I guess he wanted newer rubber just like the guys he was battling with, although he was keeping up with them pretty good. But yeah, he's put some new rubber on that car, and that brings him back to the end of the line here. Andrew Ewing is being shown down 2 laps, so that's why he's still in 9th, and Andrew picks up 8th position here. So Alcala in 2nd, it's Harbin in 3rd, it's Spencer in the 96, who is in 4th. It's Carl Staten that got ahead of Badzer in that run to the front, and that puts him in 5th position, and it's James Badzer in 6th. It's Andrew Freeling in 7th position. Waiting for the 1 to go sign. I'm sure we'll be getting it this time by. Gives us an opportunity to catch our breath. There we go. 1 lap to green. Drivers line them up, double file. Martin on the inside, Alcala on the outside, second row Harbin and Spencer. And all drivers, or except for the number 7, as far as I can remember, are on fresh rubber. So let's see if Alcala can make something happen here. He and Martin went to the pits at the same time.
Green flag.
There
green
we
flag.
go. Martin gets a good jump on the field. It looks like Carl Harbin is also surprising Alcala there. He jumps into second position. Alcala on the outside, hanging on there. The 34 looks to be nosing ahead into the second spot. Oh, he gets a bit of a hiccup there. Yeah, the yellow flag is out. I'm not really sure if that was them that caused that. That might be something else. Oh, it's the 54 tapping the back of the 7. The 54 being Andrew Ewing, tapping James Badzer in the back and turning him around for another caution. We are now on lap 50 of 75, so we have 26 more to go. 25, 26 laps more to go. Once we get the green, it'll probably be 24. Lining them up again. Let's see if we can find anybody on pit lane. No, not yet. They're on the back stretch. Let's see if we can get any takers here. Yes, it's the 54 of Ewing getting his car repaired on pit lane. That would make sense. Ian Martin in front. Let's find out. Badzer has dropped back to 8th because of this incident. Greg Wood is in 7th. It's Freeling in the 11th in 6th. And Kevin Spencer is in 5th position, and he looks like one of the very few guys that seems to be fairly unscathed so far. I don't really see any damage on that car. The 88, a little bit bent up on the front. Alcala, same thing. Kyle Harbin in the 34. Also looks to me like he's been keeping it pretty clean, and the same goes for Ian Martin. We know he's got a little bit of damage on the right front. Yep. And we're going to be going and getting the 1 lap to green sign here. Line them up again, side by side in the turn 1 and 2. The 54 of Ewing shown 6 laps down. He'll be closing in on at the end of the pack there. And let's see what Harbin can do. It's his turn. William Alcala was there and couldn't make it work. Let's see if Kyle can make anything work. Carl Staten in 4th already, and it looks like Martin is good. He's really good and quick on the starts. He gets a jump on the field, takes the lead. Harbin takes 2nd. That's Alcala and Staten side by side for 3rd. Let's take a look at them. It looks like Alcala's got the position. 88 almost runs him, taps him in the back there. It's Spencer in the 96, who is in 5th position. Greg Wood in 6th. Andrew Freeling shown in 7th position here. And the 54 has passed Badzer, but that's not for position. The 54 is 6 laps down. Bring her back up to the front here, and it looks like Alcala is closing in on the 2nd place car, the 34 of Kyle Harbin. Alcala is on the inside, ooh, way below the yellow line there. We've got to be careful. And still side by side into turn 1 and 2. Again, going underneath that yellow line. He seems to be doing pretty good there. Into 3 and 4, still side by side. Now it's Harbin running a little bit wide, and it looks like Alcala is taking the position from him, and it's the 88 of Staten going with Alcala on the lower side. The 96 is trying to do the same thing to stay behind that bumper of the 88 and get alongside the 34 before the 34 gets a chance to come back down. And it looks like that tactic is working, because the 96 also goes underneath the 34 here. Let's see if he can make that stick. And it looks like the 54 is being lapped by the entire field. He's running slow. He must have some damage on that car that prevents him from keeping up the pace. Spencer still on the inside here of Kyle Harbin. It looks like he's taken that 5th position, or 4th position, I should say. Doesn't quite have it. Yes, he does. And behind there, it's Greg Wood also trying to do the same thing. Now the 34 can get back into line, but he washes up, and the 23 gets underneath him again. So he's having trouble keeping that 34 car down low, and it seems not to be working on that second groove at this point. The 23 still on the inside of him. Oh, and the 23 almost gets himself in trouble there underneath that line, and he does go around it. It's not easy to catch a car like that when the backhand starts coming around and you want to keep going, you want to keep the throttle on there, but it's extremely difficult to catch a car like that. So Greg Wood loses it on the entry of the turn there, coming too low below the yellow line, and drops back to 7th place. While he was battling with Kyle Harbin. James Badzer in the 7 car took advantage of that. And out in front, it's still Ian Martin in the 98 car. He's still out in front. And William Alcala is now in 2nd. He must have passed Staten. And Spencer in the 96. Then it's the 34 of Kyle Harbin. And it looks like Andrew Ewing is getting a wave around. And he gets one of those 6 laps down back and gets to catch up with the back of the field. We are currently on lap 65, so there'll be 10 laps to go once they come by the flags 10, and when they get the green flag, I'm sure it'll be 9 laps to go, so we'll have a little dash for the cash here. Ian Martin still in front. It's kind of surprising to me that he catches most of them off guard on that restart pretty much every time. He gets a good jump off the start, off the line. Once that pace car goes in, he chooses the moment of hitting the throttle, and he's good at doing that, pulling a couple of car lengths already going into turn 1. So hats off to him for that. Alcala was surprised by it. Staten was surprised by it. And Kyle Harbin was surprised by it. And in that last little run, we saw Kyle being caught out on that higher line a little bit, having trouble to bring that car back to the lower line to avoid people going underneath him. And it hurt him a little bit. It brought him back to 5th position. Should be getting the 1 to go sign. There we go. Pace truck bringing him around. We'll have 9 laps to go when we get the green flag. Actually, it'll be less than that. It'll be 8 laps. Side by side, and there we go again. Martin once again hitting the throttle early, and this time it's Staten getting the better of William Alcala. He picks up 2nd position. It's Kyle Harbin in 4th. It's the 96 of Spencer on the outside now, being caught out by Greg Wood on the inside. Spencer dropping to 6th. And let's go up front here, the 88 of Staten. He's got Alcala to worry about in the number 5 car here. Alcala goes low on that yellow line all the time, and he seems to be able to make that work for him. It's a little tricky. Ian Martin still in the lead here in the 98. Carl Staten in 2nd. William Alcala 3rd. And now it's Kyle Harbin making that high side work for him, but it gets touched by the 23. He gets caught out there. Let's take another look at that. He's on the low side, drifts up a little bit. The 23 gets underneath him with 2 wheels underneath the yellow line. Taps the 34 in the back, and around he goes. Kyle Harbin drops back to 8th position because of it. All right, so now it's going to get interesting. I'm sure we're going to do green flag checkers here. We're currently on lap 73 of 75. By the time we go green, it'll be a green-white checkered, I'm sure. which means it's just going to be one little short dash for the cash at this end of this race. If we can't make that work, I'm sure they have 2 or 3 green, white, checkers allowed for this race. If I remember correctly, they have 3. So going into lap 74, and it's already showing us, yes, we're doing a green flag, a green, white, checkered. So when they get the green, then they'll get the white, and then they'll get the checkered. Or I should say the green is also the white, I guess. There'll be the 2-lap sprint for the gold. Ian Martin up front. And Carl Staten hanging on to second position there. William L. Kayla on the inside line. He likes that inside line. He likes to go low below that yellow line, so maybe that'll help him stay behind Martin. And Greg Wood behind the 88 on the outside line. So maybe the 5 can make something happen here. But I will say that Ian Martin is very good at those at timing those restarts just perfect. So 2 laps to go. When we get the green, yes, there we go again. The 98 early on the throttle. He takes the lead. He dives into turn 1 with a couple of car lengths. It's Staten in second place. It's Greg Wood taking the inside away from Al Kayla. He's now next to the 88, going for the second position there. The 23 and the 88 together. The 5 going underneath there. It looks like the 5 picks up third position. And there's some burning rubber there and cars bouncing around. We have another yellow. We may not get another yellow. It's Ian up front. He's going to take the checkered flag in front of Greg Wood. William L. Kayla picks up third position. Carl Staten with the wrong side up. And let's see who picks up fourth position then. That's a little hard to tell. It looks like Kevin Spencer picks up the fourth position. Staten gets classified. He's dropping down the order. He gets classified in 6th, I would say. And then Kyle Harbin, he looks like he's classified in 5th position. And then Staten 1 lap down on the leader in 6th. Freeling, Badzer in 8th, Ewing in 9th. So Ian Martin picks up the win once again. I believe that's his 2nd win of the season. Greg Wood picks up the 2nd position. William L. Kayla in 3rd position, and that was an exciting 2 laps to look at here. Let's see if we can bring some of that back. Yeah, let's back it up just a touch more here. It looks like there's a little bit of shuffling, and it's already on the entry of the turn where the 96 gets into the 88, and then the 7 and the 34 really can't do anything about it. The 11 hits him again. It's a bit of a mess, but it's 2 laps to go. It's a hard-fought race, obviously, so let's see if we can see Ian Martin burn some rubber here. He's currently running in the wrong direction, but he's going back to the start-finish line, obviously. And let's see him celebrate. Good win. Like I said, he's very good in timing that restart just perfect, getting the lead with a couple of car lengths in the first turn. And that helped him very much today. He kept it off the wall except for one incident where he got caught out a little bit. And yeah, he does a very, very good job. So Martin, congratulations on the win. Greg Wood on 2nd place, William L. Kayla in 3rd. And that's your top 3 finishers on the podium. Then it's in 4th, Kevin Spencer, Kyle Harbin, Carl Staten, Andrew Freeling, James Badzer, and Andrew Ewing. And Gregory Wood, unfortunately, did not finish the race. So, another one for the Mason-Dixon Racing Series is in the books. South Boston in Virginia. presented to you by Pulse Graphics and Nikki's Garden. We appreciate their support for this series. We will be going on next week, and forgive me, I don't know exactly which track we're going to, but I'm sure we'll be entertained like we were today. It's fun. It's close. It's I would say it's pretty respectful racing for a little mistake here and there. It's not easy to be in close proximity at speed with these cars. The cars are not that easy to handle coming off the turn. So I don't think any of that stuff is intentional. It's just racing each other hard. We hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. This is Blip Shift Broadcasting. My name is Mark. For Mason Dixon Racing Series, Pulse Graphics, and Nikki's Garden, I bid you good night, and we hope to see you next time.